Good mythical morning to all the beautiful people inside my phone who do not think that children should be unalived because of where they are born. If you're a Zionist, you're immediately excluded, and I hope you have a horrible day. Good morning. This morning, with my morning schmonk, do awake, bake, and take, i.e. I am awake. I will have my schmonk and bake, and I'll give you a take and talk about something I want to talk about. What we have today is Pitchfork / music critique. Critique loses its value when it is clearly not strongly considered. Personal examples: tennis, face down in the garden. This morning we are joined by Agency, chirping in at 1.63, top 3 limonene, myrcene, caryophyllene, next up linalool. I am a medical patient and a very nerdy girl at heart. Okay. The band called Tennis, great band, been around a long time. Recently put out an album called Face Down in the Garden. I haven't heard it yet. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Pitchfork reviewed it and gave it a 6.8. I thought about a review I read of my album. It's called Sublimation. There was a review that I got for that album that really it's not even that it upset me. I just thought it was very bad. So in their post, they talk about how Pitchfork isn't above the attention economy, even as the entire write-up is spent dismissing our music for its marketability. But like, this is content marketing. You are doing the marketing, Mr. Pitchfork. I don't think good critique is bad, but I think that when it's obvious that the critique has not been carefully considered, it's like, then there's no value. Then like, what are you doing? You're writing for shock value. You're doing content marketing. Specifically in terms of Pitchfork, I talked about when GNX came out, because in the Pitchfork review of GNX, which was just terrible, it's laughable, it's unlistenable, the review mentioned Jack Antonoff, who produced like all but 2 songs on that album one time. It just was obvious to me, it seemed very obvious to me that it was poor journalism for that reason. Jack Antonoff, Mr. Right Arm of Pop Princess, Jack Antonoff, Mr. Earworm, Mr. Fun, Mr. Bleachers. There is a whole new door that was both carved and opened and like rushed in by people because Jack Antonoff worked on this record. Like, and you can hear it. It's so good, and it's obvious that it's a big part of it. It wasn't considered. For me, you didn't do a good enough job listening. Like, say an actual thing if you're gonna say something and be like, I'm Mr. Pitchfork. I released my album in March of 2023. Saddle Creek put it out. That crashed and burned because a white man is always a white man. I'm gonna read through the review, full of keeping my response short. It's gonna be Thomas and my response. Thomas is the writer, Thomas Stremfil. Thomas says, how does one approach a full-length debut, especially on the legendary Saddle Creek? Do you tastefully play into the strengths of label greats like Indigo D'Souza and Bright Eyes, or immediately set yourself apart stylistically? Being raised in South Africa and only moving to Brooklyn as an adult, Shalom's writing on her album Sublimation certainly draws from a relatively unique upbringing, especially in a genre well known for, well, its whiteness. Still, half a world away, it seems like a case of same shit, different hemisphere. In sound and substance, Shalom's debut album is heavily indebted to her indie rock contemporaries, even if she doesn't necessarily lock herself down to one sound. Same shit, different hemisphere. Sorry, what do you think it should sound like, coming from South Africa? Is there something else you're trying to say here, Thomas? It's morbidly amusing to hear Shalom on Sublimation's lead single, Happenstance, sounding utterly defeated as she bemoans her living situation. I tried hard enough with my roommate and she's mean for a nurse, but anyway. The jury's still out on the public perception of nurses in recent years on an international scale. But such a simple line so simply captures her isolation following the rude awakening that the American dream isn't all it's cracked up to be. But, like much of Sublimation, she finds a way to make even the most dour of days supremely danceable, or at least not so gloomy, with Happenstance setting a prime example. Thanks for commenting on the song. Tennis talk about how Pitchfork reviewer ran his review on his interpretation of a line that was actually about a really intense, painful experience. And a lot of the comments were like, well, you can't expect critique to only come from the intended meaning of the artist. Like, you can't expect that. And this is like a case where I was not bemoaning my living situation. That's not like the actual context of that line. But it's a valid critique, because it's not what they're zooming into. On the tennis review, it's like, oh, they're me tourists, rah, really, tourists? Because there's no substance. Let's continue. Top of the aesthetic inspiration of the likes of Lucy Dacus and Beach Bunny, Shalom is reaching for her own instant quotables her contemporaries have garnered. She has her wit, but with some lines, it's hard to shake the idea that they merely exist to make for a cute Instagram bio. I would like to know about the aesthetic inspiration I have of Lucy Dacus and Beach Bunny. I really don't know what you're talking about, but I'm interested. That's an okay part of it. I'm reaching for my own instant quotables. No, baby, I'm writing, and I'm good, and they're instantly quotable. You said it, don't be mad. That my contemporaries have garnered? No, just me. Hi, just Shalom writing these lines from my brain. Doechii said it. It is not a machine, it is our brains. Black girls are brilliant, and I'm also Nigerian, get over it. Your perception of Instagram is completely different to mine, let's just say that. And also the internet raised me. And then I was like, I need to learn everything about you. Master's in Communication and Media with a focus in social and digital media. Didn't finish that because I signed a record deal. Get over it. I don't write lyrics for Instagram. I don't think anybody writes lyrics for Instagram. I think that's a really bad take. On songs like Concrete, she caps off a song about a hard-fought but ultimately lost love beautifully with the simple repetition of, you know that I miss you, you know that I love you, you know that my mom still prays for you. But one-liners like introducing her Royal Highness, it's me, I'm a royal screw-up, that's from Soccer Mommy. Or, I hope I find the time to live through this, which is from a song called Live Through This, aren't harmful, but read as Diet Boy Genius. Thomas Strenfeld, question mark? I wish I could put you in front of a mirror and you would see like the empty-headedness that this is giving off. One-liners like introducing her Royal Highness, it's me, I'm a royal screw-up. The song is called Soccer Mommy. Color Theory, the album I listened to while I was driving for the first time in my life, Act 2 or 3. You know what it's called? Royal Screw-Up. Do you know what that is? A reference, babe. Not a one-liner. Do your research. I hope I find the time to live through this. Diet Boy Genius? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? 'Cause I don't understand. I think your critique should be understandable. What about my experience of being so heartbroken over a long-time relationship that I literally thought would kill me? Like, I thought that heartbreak would, like chest pain, I'm gonna die all the time because I just started working full-time. What do you mean by that, Thomas? I would like you to defend your work. If you have a valid critique, it is welcome. Shalom fortunately still comes through with a decent batch of no-frills, heart-wrenching stories. Between explosive choruses, Shalom's relatively monotone vocals play into her emotions as she sings Real. That was about my first friend that passed away from suicide when I was 13. You know what happens to depressed teenagers? They lose their friends. That's valid. That's a valid critique. It's accurate. Shalom's relatively, okay. Bodies and Lighter make for a yin-yang double feature on her own insecurities, with the most drastic sonic shift on Sublimation occurring in the former as a sinister, darkwave-inspired trip of a song. Valid critique. You could have said that and said, and I hated it, and I still would have said valid critique. Because if it's valid, it's valid. But here's the kicker. Shalom might have the current indie rock formula a little too down to a science. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? A little too down to a science. The writing chops are there, but once a song, you can probably pinpoint the artist she pulled an idea from. I would like to see it. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. auditory hallucinations looking at you like you are wrong. Even though Sublimation is already a good record, it's safe to say it's only up from here for Shalom as she grows into her own as an artist. Valid critique, cause it's true. What do you mean by current indie rock formula too down to a science? I'm too good. I did it on my first go and it's too good for you to say that it's good. It's too good, so I must have copied other people. It's too good because there's no way I could have done that, even though I moved to America by myself when I was 19 and then worked 3 jobs in college and graduated with like a 3.9 and then went into a master's program and then dropped out because I signed a record deal while working full-time in high-power PR, while being sick as fuck, literally and figuratively. You don't think I could do it?
I'm not just a bitch.
Really? Have you spent an hour
I'm a bitch with a
me?
backstory.
A little too down to a science. I don't know what that means. Music is like such a fundamental part of my existence and my survival. And writing has been my lifeblood for longer than you know. The writing chops are there. I know. I was hired. Literally did ghostwriting. The year was 2017 and every YouTuber is writing a book. I did freelance. I wrote for mostly online magazines. Everyday Feminism, Hello Giggles, The Tempest, etc. You can look it up. It's not a machine. It's not a copycat. I'm just good. Oh, go on, song. I'm just good. I know it now. Literally, Saddle Creek knew it. I'd never done music before. I put out an EP that I made from procrastinating a final, and someone heard it on someone else's Instagram story. And then this album happened because I got a record deal. Because I am good, brother. Get over it, Thomas. Let black girls be rock stars. Same shit, different hemisphere? Buddy.